Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. And thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for following up on the last video, for the comments, my music videos, on my tutorials. This is another week of tutorials where I'll be showing you a few things that you need to know music wise. But here we are going to learn a lot of things that would help us build ourselves the more, things that would improve us a whole lot. So last week we started the series of how to keep your voice in good shape. Today we'll be having the series 2. We'll be enjoying ourselves today again. Just make sure that before you continue, if you're a new viewer, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss a thing. So this is the thing. Today we'll be having a series 2. I'll be telling you things that will work for you. I got a few comments last week about people that tried the warm water therapy and the bumblebee method. It just looked quite funny. A guy sent me a video, it looked quite funny while I was doing it, but it was fun because it helped him improve and stop clearing his throat. It's not just for singers, but also work for you if you're having cracked voice all over the time. This week I'll be talking about a new thing, and the first thing I'll be talking about on how to keep your voice in good shape is don't overuse your voice. There's always a time when you have to understand the kind of voice that you have. It's just like looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay, I have a fine face, I have a good hand, I have this, my face is having pimples. You need to do that to your voice too. As a singer, understand the kind of voice you have, if it's the type of voice that gets tired easily or not. That's where you'd be able to manage your voice the proper way. When you have sung for a long while, please take your time sometimes to let your vocal cords relax. And when you know your voice is cracked to a point, don't shout, don't scream. At that point, you're supposed to be on a break. It is a very, very good method to replace clearing your throat all the time. Your vocal cords are very gentle. If you tried any other method I mentioned last week, you can drop them in the comment section. Ask me questions that you feel you would need to know if you tried any of those things last week or you have another thing in mind. The first thing I'll be mentioning on how to keep your voice in a good shape is do not overuse your voice. I know I said something relating to that last week, but this time I'm going to shed more light on it so you'd understand. Most of us have our day-to-day activities. Some of us are businessmen, market women, some of us are traders, some of us have something to do, some of us are students that would have gone to class. So when you know you have a ministration or performance or a gig anytime soon, try not to overuse your voice. And that comes with understanding the kind of voice that you have. Not all of us can scream. Not all of us can shout for long and still have the same voice. Some of you, once you stress yourself within 5-10 minutes, your voice gets cracked. Some of you can go like that for an hour, you'll be hustler, we give it to you. As much as you still keep your voice intact after like 30 minutes or an hour of shouting or screaming or whispering, it does not change the fact that you're creating some damage to the vocal cords that you have and your throat in general. Because the way these things work is just like me going for years without going for medical checkup. I may look fine, but the day the stuff would affect me, it would wreck me completely. That's how these things work. So as much as you feel okay and nothing goes wrong with me, it does not change the fact that you still give your vocal cords some rest. Just give it, even if it's just 30 minutes, an hour. Try to talk normally, don't force it. Give your voice the time to rest, because there'll be a time you'd have to use it again. If you're a singer, make sure that when you eventually find out your voice at the stage of cracking or is already cracked, try not to scream through it, try not to shout through it. You'll be damaging your vocal cords the more. I said something about the warm water therapy last week. Something like that is what you should use whenever you're feeling this way. The urge to shout, just keep mum and make sure that before you can do anything with your voice that would require you raising your voice, make sure you take enough water. Make sure you go through the therapy intervention or anything else that works for you. Some use bananas. I'll mention that in the next few videos, but some people use fruits that work for them. Just make sure that you put your voice back in the normal state before you start doing these things again. The next thing I'm going to mention might trigger a lot of things, but I'm going to mention it and explain to you. Avoid intake of alcohol. If you know you are a performer, you are an artist, Whenever you know you have a performance ahead of you, or you know you are a regular singer or a regular performer, stay away from alcohol. Now, I see someone asking me, I see people that sing, that drink, and they sound so good. Yes, they do. But the main essence of keeping your voice in a good shape is not just for short term, it's for long term. What alcohol does is it damages your throat in the long run. The next point I'm going to be mentioning is the fact that whenever you want to run your warm-up exercises, please do not be too harsh with your vocal cords. Try to perform gentle humming or cooing. Do you understand? Now, at this point, it's not like I cannot scream. Let me liken into this. You start a car in the morning. First thing for any proper car driver is to switch it on and warm it for a few minutes. It could be like 5, 10, 15 minutes. What you're doing there is you're waking the car up, because it's possible you're going for a long journey that day. And you know, if you don't warm it, if you don't prepare the car for where it's going to, it's possible it crashes along the road. Same applies for your vocal cord. Whenever you're doing any warm-up exercises in the morning, let's say you just woke up in the morning, start shouting, or you start singing high note songs, what you should do at first is you hum. Normal notes, low notes, just do it that way. Don't sound too hard. Or you coo. Coo is like ooh, ooh, ooh. Do you understand? So coo is like sounding like a bird or something like that. The best thing is that whenever you wake up in the morning or whenever you're running your warm-up exercises, don't start with complex warm-up exercises. Don't go and be running Dorian scale, Peruvian scale, or whatever. Don't be running scales like that. At first, wake up your voice, wake up your vocal cords, warm them up like you're warming up a car. A few minutes, just go on like that. By the time you want to now go ahead for the complex ones, it will be quite easy for you to run those things. Just understand that your voice, your vocal cords also sleep. Please note that as you sleep, your vocal cords sleep. So if you're a singer or a performer and you have a performance ahead of time, try to work on those. Do not be too harsh on yourself. What you will do when you get to the stage is not 5 minutes to the stage, you start rehearsing for it. You'd have done it long before then. If you watch these YouTube videos of these top musicians, DJs that run exercises, it would amuse you when you hear what their vocal warm-up lessons are. You'd notice they are not doing something too complex. They are just applying basic things, because the first thing you have to do before you get the perfect voice is to work on your vocal cords. Once this place is perfect, you can attempt whatever you want to attempt in relation to your vocal range. I'll talk about that too in a few classes from now. Do you understand? My vocal cords are what's making you hear me right now. Maybe you think, okay, this guy sounds nice, this guy sounds good. If you've heard any of my songs, I'm like, okay, this guy has a better voice. If the vocal cords are in there, there's nothing sounding good. Do you understand? Vocal cords are like an integral part of anybody who wants to sing, anybody who wants to talk. So I've been mentioning that for a long time, so you can know the importance. If you have to read up on it, please read up on it and know how significant the vocal cords are, how significant the throat muscles are. So please, if you know you are an ardent performer, I understand. I'm not saying you should not take alcohol. I'm not a doctor. I won't tell you what to take and what not to take. I'm only saying for your own good. Whenever you have performances ahead, try to avoid the intake of alcohol so it would not affect your vocal cords in the long run. Now, someone will be questioning me like, I've seen people who drink so much and still climb on the stage the next minute and give a hell of a show. Fine, it's possible. But like I said the other time, that the person can do that at that time does not mean they can do that in the long run. And what is music if you cannot do it this year and do it in the next 15 years? We have legends that have sung even before we were born, and they still climb on stage now, they sing, and they still sound the same way, and you feel like, okay, what's going on? If you study their routines, you discover, yes, some of them might be drinkers, some of them might be alcoholics, but few minutes or few days before that show, they do what they call alcohol fasting. They do not drink ahead of their gig or their performance because they still want to sound their best, and they do their vocal warm-ups. What I'm trying to say is they still discipline themselves. So that brings us to the point: discipline yourself if you want to be a good singer, if you want to sing in the long run, if you want to keep your voice in good shape. Watch what comes into your mouth, watch what comes out, just like the scripture says. You understand? try to understand what you take in. If it's going to damage your vocal cords, going to damage your liver, damage your throat, try to take it off for the time being. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I won't tell you to eradicate it completely, but for that moment in time, try to avoid it. The next thing that is very, very related to it is try to stay away from smoking. Smoking is even worse than drinking. Now, in your head right now, I'm sure you're playing like 3 or 4 known artists that smoke regularly that still sing. Yes. But most of these guys have medical personnel that give them something that counters it for the time being. It is not long term. For you that is a regular starter, or if you don't want any problems for yourself, try to stay off smoking. In the long run, you discover your vocal cords will get really, really affected by your actions now. Watch who you watch. Main essence of all of this is to keep your voice in a good shape, to keep your voice in a way that anytime you wake up, anytime you want to use it, you can use it. You won't have to use any enhancers. You won't have to force yourself to drink something that will make you still sound normal for the time being. You can fool the audience by giving them one good one, then come back to the backstage and start suffering the consequences. You won't have to go through that pain if you keep your voice in the right shape. The last thing I'm going to be mentioning right now is that this is quite an habit amidst singers, performers, musicians. Tilting our head up whenever we want to sing a high note, tilting it down if you want to sing a low note. Musically, it is bad. Let's say you want to sing and you go like, ah, oh. Normally, you should be able to face the camera like I am right now and still sound high notes and sing low notes. The trick behind this is keeping your throat and neck muscles relaxed. There's this anxiety that comes with, I want to sing a high note. All the muscles in your body are waiting for that moment. Everything is stiff. No, don't do that to yourself. But once you understand your vocal range, you'll understand this is something I can actually do. And there are wow moments in music where you have never hit that note before and you want to hit it. Just calm down, relax your nerves. The highest you can go that I recommend is 45 degrees. This is 90 degrees. This is 45 degrees. Not too straight, not too high, somewhere around here. If you want to hit a high note, recommendable. Don't tilt your head up. Don't tilt your head down because you hit a low note. Work on your throat, on your cords. So the essence of running trainings, the essence of warm-ups is to help build your vocal range. Help build how well you can sound, help build what your voice is like, knowing what your voice type is. Keep your neck muscles relaxed, keep your throat relaxed. Don't force it, don't be too nervy about it. I hope you understand what. So this right here are the few points I'm going to drop on this series on how you can keep your voice in good shape. A few points are up for discussion, but I'll be right there in the comment section. You'd bear me witness that I respond under 5 minutes. If you have something else you want me to talk about in the next class, please drop it in the comment section. So next class, we'll be talking about the next thing. I won't tell you now. When it's time, you would find out, and I will make sure it's going to be well packaged, just like this one. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please subscribe. Share this link to your family and friends. Share this link to people that are also musically inclined, that need this. Probably as I was talking about this, someone came to your mind. Please tap on the share link and share with the person, copy link with the person. If it's a group of singers or of musicians that you feel, okay, you guys can learn from this, kindly share this link. I'm always here, be ready to learn. Subscribe on my channel if you have not subscribed yet. Turn on post notifications, don't just subscribe. Once you turn on post notifications, you get the notification that I've dropped the video immediately. On Friday, I will be dropping another music video just like I did last week Friday. I hope you enjoyed it. Forever is the name of the song. I'll be waiting here for you next week.